This one is for this weekend's UFC main event between Thiago Santos and Jamahal Hill. We've got Jamahal Hill ranked number 10, Thiago Santos at number 6. So winning this fight moves him into some very interesting fights. You know, he's fast progressing towards the top of the division, even though he's only, 12 fights into his career. So Thiago Santos is 22-10 and Jamahal Hill is 10-1 with 1 no contest. 2-inch height advantage for Jamahal Hill as well as a 3-inch reach advantage. And this is Southpaw v Orthodox, which I don't think works very well for Thiago Santos for a few different reasons. The striking stats are quite evident in Jamahal Hill's favour. Now, his striking defence isn't quite as high, but you know, he is a bit of a risk taker, and because he's got heavy hands and he's knocking people out in the first round, his fights aren't particularly long. He does get caught with a couple of shots on the way in, but usually they end up in him knocking them out, so it's a worthy risk. If you look at strikes landed per minute, you've got Thiago Santos on one side at 3.77 and Jamahal Hill on the other side at 7.06. Higher striking accuracy as well. Of course, his fights are shorter. I went a bit further into this, and just bear with me because I thought this was quite interesting as well. So Santos has had a decent amount of fights in the UFC. Made his UFC debut back in 2013. Now, if I look at the significant strikes that he's landed throughout his career, when he's going the distance over 15 minutes, he's usually hitting somewhere between 40 and 60 strikes. That's kind of his average output. If he's finishing people, obviously it's shorter. The one standout was against Eric Anders, went 15 minutes. He landed 100 significant strikes in that fight. If you look at Jamahal Hill on the other side, he hasn't been 5 rounds since early on in his career. We know he can do 5 rounds. Of course, you know, we don't know what it's going to be like in the main event of a UFC, but if we look at the significant strikes from Jamahal Hill on the other side, if he's knocking you out in the first round, he's landing a handful of strikes. You're looking at 4, 6. In the no contest against Abreu, he landed 14 strikes and stopped him just under 2 minutes into the round. That was overturned due to a failed drug test. But if we look at the fights which have gone past the first round, the numbers increase significantly. You know, if he's stopping you, he's landing around 10 strikes. If he's going into the second round, he's getting near 100 every time. You know, OSP, he landed 68 strikes and finished him, just over halfway through the second. 30 seconds before the end of the second round, he stopped Popek and he landed 93 strikes in that one. And against Stosic, over 3 rounds, he landed 101 strikes. So he's averaging a much, much higher output than Santos. I expect him to be bullying Santos, and I expect him to have to try and defend some takedowns in this one. I think Santos is going to try and put him on his back. I think he's going to try and force him to scramble up and work to his feet over and over again. And anytime he gets a bit of space, I think Santos is going to try and smother him up against the fence. The light heavyweight division's right in the point where it's going to shift. You look at some of these guys a bit further down, and you look at some of the guys a bit further up. You know, the Santoses and the Anthony Smiths and the Glover Teixeiras, even though he's just won the belt, and the Wachowicz, heading towards 40. I think we're going to see a shift soon. I think we're going to see a few new light heavyweights surge forward. And Jamahal Hill's definitely one of those to watch. It just depends on whether the timing's right now. But we'll see. Should be a good fight. Enjoy.